Hello, welcome. Grand Rising, beautiful words. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. I am Crystal Soul Hayes, and I am the founder of Home. Hello, good morning. Today is the first day of our 28-day Nourishing You practice, and I am so honored that you are here, and I need this. I believe as much as you do too. So, yeah, I just had a beautiful conversation with an amazing woman in our collective, and the work that we do is not always easy, but it is so important, and it is why we're here, to support each other on these really deep inner levels. So, just super grateful. Okay, so what I'd like to do is always just coming right into our bodies, right? Kind of taking out the outside world, just kind of taking a moment, disconnecting from them, and disconnecting from the outside world and connecting into our body, out of our head and into our heart and our creation space. So if you haven't already, find a comfortable seat. And if you want to light a candle, or if you have a little section that you've carved out for yourself to have just a little sacred space, or if you haven't, I am going to invite you to do that for this 28 days. Is really just finding, even if it's like a little corner in your home, and a few relics that that really speak to your heart. So for me, I love hearts, so I've got a few little, heart rocks and things of that nature. I've got a spray to cleanse my space, so I'm going to give that a little switch. And it's just a little corner in my office, but it really it invites me in every time I see it to just take a moment for myself. Okay, so find a comfortable seated position. You can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your womb if you'd like to. I'm going to go ahead and close our eyes here. Just do a quick check-in with our body, check in with our mind, see how see what's coming up for you today. What's that inner voice saying as you've started your day, or you're in your midday time frame. So just doing a quick check-in here. Really looking to slow things down for just a few minutes. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. And a nice exhale. Deep breath in. Filling the mind, filling the head space with oxygen. Exhale, pulling that energy to center and down towards the heart space. Inhale, filling the head space with oxygen, life-giving oxygen, clearing out any unnecessary chatter. And exhale into the heart. A deep breath in. And an exhale into the heart space. From here, visualizing the heart and lungs filling up with life-giving oxygen. And exhale, releasing any tension or tightness from that area. Deep breath in. And an exhale, and pulling that energy down to the womb space. Deep breath in here, filling the belly with air. Deep exhale. One more time. Inhale. And an exhale. And coming back just to a natural in and out breath, just nice and easy. Feeling the connection from womb, heart to mind. The triple trinity, feeling the mind, body, spirit connection. And just keeping your focus maybe on your heart space or your womb space. And just follow along with my words here for a few moments. Keeping the eyes closed, keeping the energy nice and, just subtle, easeful. So when we take a time to pause and tune in to ourselves, something amazing happens. By tuning inward, we begin to understand the nature of our exterior world even more. Most of us have experienced a period of slowing down that we've never had before last year. And when we're faced with discovering parts of ourselves that may have been hard to move through or navigate, it is any wonder that our moon completes a cycle around the earth every 29 and a half days, and women complete their cycles every 28 days. Deep breath in and an exhale. By connecting with our cycles and honoring the natural cycles of the moons and the seasons, we find meaning and comfort in how we are a part of our bigger world that relies on these changes to live and grow. And exhale. We find clarity with how our bodies flow and how each of us is so unique in how our bodies respond to our environments and our surroundings. There's no time to start your cycle, or even there's no right time to start your cycle, or even a right way to feel at different stages of it. We are all connected by this magic mama that we share as women, but we are also connected by our unique differences we experience during the stages of motherhood. We invite you today and moving forward to build a relationship and to tune in to yourself and your cycle, and to observe the lunar cycle together as a collective. Okay, and coming back into the space here when you're ready, coming back into your heart and opening up your eyes when you're ready to do so. So that's the invitation today. That's really going to set the foundation for really everything that we do at home is to tune in. It's the tuning into self, right? And it's really coming back into how we do that is through our cycle, right? So today is a new moon. And so what I'd like to do is just briefly describe kind of the phases of the moon and how those kind of relate to the phases of our cycle. So the new moon being really the dark, right? It's like the darkest of the moon happened last night, right? As this new moon shifts. So when you look in the night sky, there really isn't anything to see. So in relation to self and our cycle, the new moon represents the time of the month usually when we menstruate, right? So it doesn't have to be synced necessarily to the lunar cycle. However, the lunar cycle itself, when we tune into that and we really start building that connection with the lunar and just really understanding how the energy of the collective with the lunar cycle can influence us and our own cycle, right? We start to build a relationship there with more in tune with cycle. So most of the time our lives are built on a linear. We have always showed up in our kind of modern world in a very linear grid, a very structured calendar, day to day. We go Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's very linear grid. But what the lunar cycle really teaches us is really tuning into the nature cycles and the seasons of self. And so this is the invitation for the 28-day practice as we start to have a little bit more awareness and understanding around the simple practice of connecting to the lunar and to our own cycle. So like I mentioned, the new moon representing really this closed, right? Like very contracted, like if your body's moving, this is, I like to think of it as just like this very contracted state, right? It's like the contract and the release, right? Is the new moon for cycle of self. And in the energy of the lunar, it really is, right? It's like that coming in from that last quarter moon into this very quiet, very still, very calm, like it's really in the dark, in the very feminine energy. And then as we move through into the first quarter, that's a rising energy, right? So you release as your own cycle, you're releasing, and then your body starts to build back up, right? So we go into this follicular stage and then into the full moon, right? And so we have the full moon really being the most exalted state, the very outward energy. It's kind of like how we show up in the world. It's this outer energy, this kind of, if you're riding on a wave, right? It's like the height of the wave is like the full moon exalted, the expression, our sexuality, our sensuality, that very, and it represents the ovulation stage, right? When as women we would be, you know, potentially if we were trying to create a baby, that's when we would do that, right? So knowing that the full moon is the exalted, the full outward expression, and in our physical body, I really like to think of it as like if you're really extending through and lengthening your arms and lengthening your legs and standing kind of in a star position, right? It's like that really extended, open energy and just receiving all that life has to give. It's a really beautiful, full energy. And so you have these two opposing forces, right? You have the new moon, which is that quiet, feminine, just inward releasing. And then you have this opposing full moon, exalted creation time, like, just higher energy, right? And it's that higher energy time. And so knowing that on the full moon, you have a lot of it's usually there's like so much energy, and my kids are like, they can feel the energy of the lunar, because it's such that outward expression, dancing, and however you want to move your body. But the point being is you have these really two beautiful opposing forces, and when you can align your awareness around the moon itself, the lunar cycle, and really honor it for where it is, and just recognizing how you're feeling in relation, it's just a beautiful practice, and it really can help set you up to really move through the emotions that come along with it, and just honoring what your body is telling you as you move through your own cycle. Okay, so some of the things that we've included for our 28-day challenge, you should have received one of our tuning in practices download. So here, this is going to represent the new moon. So if you wanted to start just building this relationship over the next 28 days, this is an invitation and a little resource for you to do so. So here you have the new moon, and then you're gonna move through the quarter, and then all the way, not the quarter here, but the waxing, and then to the full moon, right? And then back through to the new. So this can be used over and over. We don't have any dates or anything on it so that you can use it as you wish. But the idea is to just say, okay, today is February 11th. So maybe you want to date the top here, February 11th. So you're just kind of in your calendar mind, understanding where we are on the cycle of the moon, and then moving through it to, I don't have on the top of my head when that would be, but so you would go ahead and just know where in relation to that, to our calendar, the moon cycle is. And then, so say, you may or may not be aware of kind of where you are in your current Nice. I love that. You can use like a little dry erase marker or something. If you laminated it, you could totally just use it over and over, right? Until you kind of are just in sync and in tune, and like you're in that rhythm of knowing and all of in that kind. And that's really the invitation, is to kind of move you through into that space where it really becomes more intuitive, and you're like, oh yeah, I can totally feel this exalted energy. We're definitely, close to that full moon. So we've got the new, we've got the full. So here I would just start to track your own moon, right? So like, say you're you're cycling on a quarter moon or whatnot. Like, it's gonna differ, right? In kind of back in the day in the village, when women were all circling together all the time, really there was a time of month when most everybody, you either cycled on new or you cycled on full. So modern world, we're kind of like in our own rhythms. So this is a really beautiful way to just really kind of tune back into Mother Nature and the rhythms of ourselves in relation. So say you're here, you're like, okay, so I'm going to darken in. This is my new moon cycle. This is when I'm cycling. So then you go here, and then you're going to really just want to track where then you're ovulating, right? So I would go ahead and use this as your cycle and ovulating, and then you can see in relation where you are. And then over time, if you really are doing this kind of in, sequential over month to month, then you can really kind of start to see maybe if you're shifting into a certain rhythm with the moon, because that does happen. It's really beautiful when you really start tuning in, and you're maybe you're taking flower essence to support your cycle or anything of that nature. You really just start to see a lot more of a harmonious relationship to not only your emotional reaction to the energies of your cycle, but just overall just kind of feeling more in tune. The next part of the tuning in practice here is the second sheet, and this is really just the invitation for the week, right? And for the rest of the 28 days is to, each day as we're going through these check-ins, what we're going to do is just give you an opportunity to, like, okay, we're on 11, right? So we'll start at 11, and it's the new moon. So you can use this either way. You can say, since we know it's the new moon and we have it on the bigger practice, you could use this space to actually just track your cycle as well. And then that way here you can see in relation. So like, say for example, you're totally in sync with the new moon and you're cycling right now. You go ahead and like darken it in. Oh, right here, darken it in. And then just a quick check-in like we did, that really just kind of, connecting mind, heart, and womb, and say, okay, physically today, well, I've got a little ache in my back, or whatever it is, or actually I'm feeling amazing. I have lots of energy physically. Emotionally, well, I don't know, I'm feeling a little bit heavy, or something really sad came into my life, or something of that nature. So just giving yourself an opportunity to check in physically and emotionally, and really without judgment, right? Just really acknowledging what is present. And then the little star here at the end would be just how you're honoring yourself, and that could be just this practice, right? It could be just that. I'm learning to tune in, and I'm taking 5 minutes to breathe. It could be very simple, and that's really the invitation overall, as women and mothers, is really to slow down and to just create these real simple practices that can support you really so much more than we really think they can and know, because it's really this place of stillness and calmness that many of us are just kind of not kind of conditioned to, right? We're really conditioned to going and fast and have so many things to do that it's hard to just even like take a breath. So that's the invitation for the next 28 days is to just kind of keep this handy with you as we have our morning practices, and as you start into it, just kind of doing a quick check-in. I'm super excited to have all the other practitioners that are going to be joining us and sharing their medicine and sharing their gifts. And if you want to take just a kind of a last moment here and just kind of ask yourself, what is it that you would like to receive out of this 28-day Nourishing You experience? We'll just give that just a moment to really think about that. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. I look forward to seeing how everybody is moving through the experience, and I'd love to hear some feedback as we're moving through together, and seeing how you're feeling, seeing how this is really supporting and nurturing you and just honoring you for where you are. Thank you so much, and have a really beautiful day and a wonderful new moon. Take care. Thank you.